December 20th, 2012, Thursday. What is all the noise I hear outside? Are flights arriving? She asked as she continued to eat her breakfast. Are parents arriving already? Bioforce asked. No. Virtuoso reached out and browsed the minds of those near the airfield. The blue team is on their way out. They had their first Parents' Day 3 years ago. They don't get them anymore. The official word is that parents don't start arriving until after 0800, Darkspeed said. So what are we doing until then? Cosmos asked. Clean your rooms, make yourself presentable, and then, I don't know, maybe hit the pavilion until 0930. The ceremony isn't until 1000. Why so early? Coach said he wanted to go over where we stand and how we act. Kind of like a dog show. I wish we could have a match or something while our parents are here, Olympian said. Why, so you can try to beat someone down in front of their parents? Bioforce asked. It's scary how well you know me. Let's just get our stuff done and enjoy our day, all right? Darkspeed said. When Connors entered the first team dorm room, things were in an uproar. Bioforce kept redoing the other girls' hair, only to have them say they didn't like it. Darkspeed was trying to get everyone ready, while Olympian heckled the girls. Cosmos kept making little toys and action figures out of Omnium for his little brother, wondering which one he'd like better. Everyone front and center, Connors said. Do I wear my swords to a ceremony? She asked quickly. Wear what you would wear as a superhero on duty. That means the heavy chopper, Olympian said as he rushed back to his room. Everyone has 5 minutes to finish up and be in front of me, Connors said loudly. Okay, back to the fourth hairstyle, Virtuoso said to Bioforce. Which one was that? She asked back. Virtuoso reached into her mind and showed her vividly which hairstyle to use. Got it? I had it. You changed your mind. Bioforce touched Virtuoso and her hair snapped into the style Bioforce commanded. Done. Thanks. Me next, she said as she jumped next to the other girls. Joseph, you have enough toys for your brother. Put them in your room, Connor said. Darkspeed checked his costume in the mirrors in the common room again. Do you think my parents will like it? You're the last person I would expect to flake out over a fashion statement, Connor said. I don't know anything about fashion. I just know I want my parents to like it. If you're inside of it, they'll like it. Connors walked to the center of the room and watched the buzzing of the alphas. One by one they finished, and their coach started to lay out the events that were going to take place. How their team would be introduced first and in what order. He told them that the large conference room that they listened to Kodiak speak in would be the place the parents would see them. The team asked simple questions that were answered quickly, and then they were on their way to the hotel. Bioforce looked around at all the other students walking with their coaches to the same destination. Have all the parents arrived? Yes, and they're taking their seats, Virtuoso said. Cosmos looked around at all the other alphas in their costumes as they walked down the center of campus. Some looked like superheroes, some looked cool, and some looked like they were wearing their parents' costume. The Greys just don't look as good, do they? No, not quite, Connor said. Behind the curtain on the stage, first team practiced standing still in a superhero-looking fashion. For the first time in a while, they were self-conscious of how they looked or acted. Dr. DeClute was giving some speech that sounded like it would have been very inspiring if they were listening. Quit fidgeting, you'll be fine, Connor said to Darkspeed. I can barely stand still on a normal day. I feel like I'm being put on display and judged, Darkspeed said. No one's judging you. You're the one seeking approval. Get it right. Whatever it is, it's hard to be still. A leader's rank makes him first in authority and last to be considered. Look at the 5 behind you and stand tall for them. Set the example. Darkspeed straightened up and turned to those behind him to offer words of encouragement. Olympian was the hardest to reach until Darkspeed took his mind off of where they were. Do you think Achilles or any of your other family is out there? Olympian tried to look for a break in the curtain to see through. Wouldn't that be a sight? My family would take up half the audience. Virtuoso, can you tell me if anyone other than my parents is out there? How do you keep a turkey in suspense? Virtuoso joked. I'm serious. I'm trying not to read any more thoughts and just be calm. You should too. Who can see through objects? X-ray vision, Olympian asked to the other teams behind him. Olympian, turn around and act like a superhero, Darkspeed said. Olympian turned around to say something smart to Darkspeed, but saw Connor staring hard at him from behind the leader. Sorry. Being caught up in their own conversation, they only heard Dr. DeClute say, First team. We're up, Connor said as he led them out from behind the curtain. Darkspeed walked out into the bright lights and immediately his speed took over. He purposely had to slow down to not move from the place he was supposed to be. Looking out over the audience, he saw many superheroes that he'd only read about. It was hard to place some of them at first. None of them were in costume. Olympian's parents sat with Achilles and Olympia next to them. Saber's parents and his twin brother were also in attendance. Time seemed to stop altogether when Darkspeed saw his own parents in the crowd. He had been on stage long enough for an initial reaction to have taken place. His mother's face was a mixture of surprise and pride. That was enough for Darkspeed to calm down and time returned to normal. Dr. DeClute introduced each member of the team by their handle. Connors was then given the podium and said some nice things about them. The Alphas tried to pay attention to what he was talking about, but only looked around at the crowd. A dedication that will carry them far in the service of all that HU holds dear. I am proud to be the coach of the team you see before you, Connors finished with. Applause thundered in the ears of those on stage. Dr. DeClute came by to shake hands with each of them, stopping only to talk to Bioforce. Were you thinking of having me take you home now? Bioforce smiled as she looked back at her grandmother. Like Mother said, I've never heard of anyone quitting Alpha. That's my girl. Dr. DeClute broke ranks to hug her granddaughter. As first team was led off stage and into another room, they could hear second team being introduced. 5 minutes later, second team joined them in the other room. In less than an hour, all the Alphas in training and their coaches were held up in this second room. Dr. DeClute was finishing up as Connors started to address the coaches and their teams. After the parents are released, they will meet us in the dining overflow area. Everyone is to be on their best behavior. If you have a sword or any other combat instrument with you, I don't want to see it out today. Is everyone clear? The excited Alphas were quick to agree and head to the dining area. Connors headed out the front to the building near reception. In the dining area, the bots had prepared a lavish array of foods and drinks. The team showed restraint and waited for their parents. Connors came back from the front of the building with a stack of Blu-rays in his hands. He then approached each coach and gave them several discs as he congratulated them on their efforts and their team. When he was done, he made his way back over to his own team. What are those? She asked him. Highlights of what each of the teams has accomplished here. I made a special one for each team. Here. Connors handed her 6 discs. Pass those out to your teammates, please. I didn't think we had that many cameras on site. I hope we come across well, she said. You all come across well. And a good superhero always behaves like they're being filmed. When you're in the field, it seems like everyone has a camera. My dad always used to say, she started to say. Hey, here they come, Connors interrupted. She didn't wait. She walked straight for her father and mother. Shogun was wearing a business suit and her mother was wearing a dress. She hugged her mother first as her father's face pulled back into a large smile. Look, Shogun has teeth, Olympian said to Darkspeed. All those times we saw him, I thought he only had gums. Shush, Darkspeed said as he walked away from Olympian and towards his own parents. All the time working in the old man's loading dock, did you think you'd be the leader of an alpha team? Darkspeed's father asked him as he embraced his son. I never even thought I'd get here, Darkspeed said. Who's watching the kids? Abraham's an adult and your sisters are a big help, Darkspeed's mother said. Darkspeed kissed his mother as he saw Olympian's parents go striding past toward his hitter. Olympia flashed him a smile as she passed. When he had seen her before, she was dressed for a picnic and busy playing with younger children. Today, she looked like she just stepped off the runway in Milan. Mrs. Ryan watched the interaction as the dark-eyed girl walked past. Something I should know about? His mother asked. No, Darkspeed said convincingly. You look so imposing on the stage, Mr. Farakis told his son as he placed both hands on his face. Now we have 2 costume superheroes in the family, Mrs. Farakis said. Papa's a superhero, Olympia said. Your father doesn't wear a costume, Mrs. Farakis said. Son, have you been shaving the fuzz on your chin? She reached for his face to examine his new facial hair. Mama, Olympian said as he tried to step away from his mother's hand. Stop, you'll embarrass the boy, Mr. Farakis said. I brought him into this world. I'll embarrass him if I like. Olympian stood still as his mother inspected his face. He looked past her to see his younger sister's supportive smile. Achilles looked at his younger brother like he had been exactly where he was now. Dr. DeClute walked holding the hand of her daughter, Dr. Albrecht. The other Dr. Albrecht, Bioforce's father, walked along with them. Bioforce waited in place as they approached her.